Hello, it's Kurt Clapier with TeachMomHow.com. It's no coincidence that I named my website TeachMomHow.com. It's because I'm actually a teacher, and don't worry, you don't have to be a mom, and you don't even have to be a woman to be a part of the site. In fact, I am a man, so I hope you enjoy the content I share with you, and today we're going to be talking about how to set up a newsletter. Yesterday I sent you a video that talked about why you want to set up a newsletter, the power in that. They've been saying for years in this industry that the fortune is in the follow-up, and the newsletter is the most inexpensive way and the most effective way to automate the follow-up process so that you don't have to do all the follow-up by hand. And also it's more effective because you don't annoy people as much, I should say. You can still annoy people with newsletters, but you don't annoy them as much by doing it the automated way that I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. Let's jump right in. If you're tired of people saying no to you over and over on the phone, if you're tired of having to keep track and call somebody every couple months just to see if they've changed their mind about joining your business, rest assured the newsletter is the solution to that problem. It will do the follow-up for you. So let's jump in and let's get started. This is not just the tutorial. I'm not going to walk you through exactly how to set up the technical side of setting up a newsletter, because all the tools that I recommend you use for the newsletters, they already do that. Once you set up your trial, they will walk you through how to create and how to set up your newsletter. So I'm going to walk you through some of the decisions you need to make as you get ready to do your newsletter. And then hopefully by the end of this video, you can sit down and decide what route to take, because I'm going to give you a few routes and go from there and get started with your newsletter. So let's get started now. So first off, you've got to decide what to make your newsletter about. You have at least two choices. You may have more, but you have at least two. And I recommend you only choose one of those niches to make your newsletter about at this point. Maybe after you've generated at least 100 leads, you can make a second newsletter for the other niche. But for now, you choose either your product niche or your making money from home niche. You're in both. You have a product that you sell. It may be wraps, it may be makeup, it may be financial services, it may be a number of things. But whatever it is, you've got your product that you market. So if you're marketing weight loss products, or if you're marketing health products or workout videos, whatever it is that you're marketing, you need to decide what that product is. And that's one niche you could make a newsletter about. It could be a health niche. It could be a weight loss niche. It could be how to eat right niche. Whatever it is, you choose that niche. The other niche is the make money from home niche. Those are people who are either looking for ways to make money from home, or people who are already in home businesses and just need help marketing online. So you can make it for that niche. I've chosen to focus on the make money from home niche, and that's the newsletter you most likely subscribe to. If you don't subscribe to my newsletter, then go to freetraining.teachmomhow.com and sign up. It's spelled just like it sounds, freetraining.teachmomhow.com, and you can sign up for my newsletter there. Now, once you've decided which niche you're in, well, first off, I recommend you choose the one that you're most passionate about for now. Are you more passionate about your product? Have you lost 50 pounds on your weight loss product and now you love that product? Or are you more passionate about the making money part? Whichever one you're more passionate about, whichever one you feel you're more knowledgeable about, that's the one you should choose to start out. Eventually you can have one in both niches. Now, and I apologize, I'm a dad, I'm a school teacher by day, a marketer by night, and a dad in between. And so if you hear my kids running around upstairs, I'm in my home office, so deal with it. All right. Now, once you've decided what you're going to make your newsletter about, you need to decide what type of newsletter you're going to run and how often you're going to run it. Is it going to be an online newsletter? That's what most people do. Or is it going to be an offline newsletter? That would be something you send them in the mail. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of each of these now. First off, the online newsletter, or in other words, an email newsletter, the one that you most likely receive from me has many pros and just a couple cons. The pros are that you can email as often as you want for a low monthly cost. I email 5 to 6 times a week. That may seem like a lot, but most people don't read all my emails. They don't have time to read all my emails. So I email them constantly. They pick and choose what stands out to them. They pick and choose what they want to implement for my emails, and that way I'm constantly in contact to them. When they're ready to do business with me, they can reach out to me. Next, you can customize the message easily. That's another pro to the newsletter. Maybe I send out an email today and I realize that wasn't very effective, so tomorrow I can do a different one. When you're mailing, you can't always do that, at least not so quickly or cost effectively. You can automate this process. You can actually set it up. I have in one niche I'm in, it's a wrestling newsletter. I have emails that go out for over 50 days in a row without me doing anything. Once they put their email address into the newsletter, or once I put their email address in the newsletter, for the next 50 days, they get an email from me and I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to look at it because I already created it and they already automated the process. You may or may not want to automate it like that. The emails I send out nearly daily to my newsletter, to my list, I don't automate them like that because I never know what I want to say because things change, times change, my list changes. So I send them an email every day that I actually write that day. Sometimes I'll write it the night before and then send it the next day, but typically I write it that morning and then send it out. Or if I can't get to it in the morning, I'll send it in the afternoon. Then the other cool thing about it is it archives all your past newsletters. So there's a simple link with these newsletters when you use an email newsletter. It's called an autoresponder. When you use an email autoresponder to automate your newsletter, it keeps an archive. So if anyone ever emails you and they're like, hey, I can't find that email you sent me about this or that, you just send them a link to the archives and they can go through them and find what they want to find. Plus you can go through it and see what you sent people to, see what you want to talk about in the future based on what you already talked about, and so on. Now the cons to this is that people don't read all their emails. Okay, they end up in their junk folders, they delete them, they get so much spam. There's just a ton of noise that you have to compete with when you do an email newsletter. So those are really the only two cons. It's super cost effective, super inexpensive to do email newsletters, but everybody does them because they're cheap. And so you have a lot to compete with the email newsletters. Now, the offline newsletter. These would be like cards and gifts, or a magazine if you're that advanced that you're printing a magazine and sending out. Now, I do both. I do an offline newsletter in the form of cards where I send my warm market birthday cards, and some I send Christmas cards, but I send my close warm market, I should say, my close warm market and my hot market. I send them birthday cards. That's the form of my offline newsletter. I also, once a month, I have a few people that I've began working with and mentoring, and I'll send them a card nearly monthly or every other month, just as a way to reach out to them, encourage them, teach them some kind of a marketing principle, and keep me hopefully in the front of their mind so that when they're ready to do business with me, they know where to go. So I do both. You can automate this process as well. The biggest pro of the offline newsletter is that it will make you stand out. If you mail it in the form of a greeting card like I do, then they will for sure open it. I shouldn't say for sure, but greeting cards get opened 11%. They say 11%, but I think it's higher than that. Greeting cards get opened way more than any other form of mail because it looks personal, and so they open it. So I send these out in the form of a greeting card, a birthday card, a word of encouragement, a training of some sort, something to read that could help them in their business. That's how I do it. And you can automate this. I do this from my phone. If you want more information on how I automate this, just contact me. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. Maybe I'll make another video that will talk about how I automate the offline newsletter. It's not as automatable as the email newsletter, but it is in the sense that I can set up a series of cards and they can get mailed to the people they're supposed to get mailed to without me having to think about it after I've created them. But what I do with it is I typically just send it from my phone. When I want to send someone a card, I do it from my phone, and I do that once a month to everybody. So, or from my computer. Sometimes it's easier from the computer. Now the only cons to the offline newsletter is that it's the cost of postage that can add up. Stamps are 49 cents a piece right now, so every postcard you send is 33 cents, and every greeting card you send is 49 cents. And if you're sending a lot, that adds up. The other cost is there's the cost of printing, which is pretty minimal compared to the way I do it. It's pretty minimal. But if you're sending a lot, it can add up. I spend about, between postage and there's people that do more, but between postage and printing, my offline newsletter costs me between $40 and $50 a month. Not too crazy, but as it grows, that cost is going to go up. But also as it grows, I'll be making more money, so it's okay to spend more money. All right. You also can't mail them every day because, one, it's not cost effective, and two, it'd be kind of weird if you're mailing a newsletter to every day. Maybe not. Maybe you have a niche that makes sense, but for most people that would look weird. Where with email, you get emails from the same people all the time. So it's not that weird to email them every day or once a week or every other day or however often you choose to do your newsletter. It makes more sense with email than physical mail to do that every day or to do it often. So we're going to focus more on the email newsletters now. If you want to know more information about how to facilitate and some tools that I recommend for the offline, for the physical newsletter, reach out to me, text me, call me, or email me, or message me on Facebook, and let's talk about it. But now we're going to talk about email newsletter options, okay? So once you've decided what your newsletter is going to be about, you then need to decide whether it's going to be online or offline. Most likely you'll start out online because it's the easiest and most cost effective. And then you need to decide what tool you're going to use to do the newsletter. There's lots of tools out there to send your emails, software to manage your emails and send your emails and things like that to your list, and to automate the process if you choose to automate it. But there's really only two that I recommend, and there's only two that I currently work with, and I've tried several, and I'm going to go through the pros and cons and why I recommend one of or both of these two options that I'm going to show you here. They are aweber and My Lead System Pro. Okay, let's first talk about aweber. Aweber is the best autoresponder in the industry. Again, autoresponders are the software that send emails to your mass audience for you, and they can automate that process, or you can, whenever you want, click, type an email, and send it to everybody on your list. That's called an autoresponder. Aweber is the best in the industry. I've used 3 or 4 of them extensively, and aweber, I come back to aweber every time. It's the best one. They're the most professional. They provide the best support. They are the best at abiding by the anti-spam laws, so you're not going to get in trouble. At first, some of the stuff they do seems like a headache, but you want them to be legit so you don't get in trouble as your list grows. So aweber is the best one out there. It's the easiest to use. It's the most user-friendly, best support, and I can't talk enough about how great aweber is. It's the best tool. It's a piece of software I will never stop paying for because I use it all the time. I've managed lists as small as 50 people with aweber, and I've managed lists as big as 15,000 people with aweber. And so it can handle it. I know people that run 100,000 person lists. I've never ran a list bigger than about 15,000, but it's amazing. So that's the autoresponder out there. You can sign up for a free trial at aweber.teachmomhow.com. Go play around with it, test drive it, get it working for you, set up your emails, and start gathering leads and sending them your newsletter. It's the one I use for my newsletter. Okay, after your free trial, so you get a free month, then it's $19 per month with aweber. Now, I recommend you try that if all you want's the autoresponder. But if you want some more bells and whistles, My Lead System Pro is another option. Now let me explain a little bit about My Lead System Pro. My Lead System Pro comes with an autoresponder for free included with it. It's not as good as aweber, okay? In fact, I haven't even used it because I already had aweber when I started using My Lead System Pro. But if you're looking for some of the support and the other tools that My Lead System Pro offers, then it makes sense to do that instead of aweber if you can live without the bells and whistles of aweber. So it comes with an autoresponder that's good enough, okay? It's good enough and they have training on how to use it. It's just not as good as aweber. Since I already had aweber, I use both. I have My Lead System Pro and aweber. But let's talk about why you might want to consider My Lead System Pro instead of aweber or in conjunction with if you can fit both in your budget. Okay, first off, you can sign up for a 10-day test drive for just $10. You can sign up for that test drive at MLSP, as in My Lead System Pro, MLSP.teachmomhow.com. This includes an autoresponder. So for not a lot more than you pay for aweber, you can get an autoresponder plus a whole lot more. It also includes a CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Manager. This is a piece of software that is pretty amazing. It's one of the coolest I've seen in the industry. What this Customer Relationship Manager does is every time you have a prospect, you put them into the CRM. You put their information, any notes about how your conversation went or your presentation went with this person, and when you need to follow up, because the fortune is in the follow-up. So let's say you meet with Jane Doe, and Jane Doe watches your video, and Jane Doe says, you know what, I'm not interested at this, or let's say Jane Doe says, you know what, I do want to join your business, but I don't have the money to start right now. So you put Jane Doe in your contact, and you make a note, follow up in 2 months, or 1 month, or 6 months, or whatever, and it will remind you to do that. The other thing it does is you can make extensive notes on the person. There's a man named Joe Girard. He was the best car salesman who ever lived. He averaged 6 to 8 car sales per day, and he sold over 13,000 cars in his career, which wasn't a very long career because he was so successful. Now, Joe Girard had many things he did. One was sending cards to people, which is why I do it. But another thing he did was he kept these files. He had an entire filing cabinet in his office where he had a file on every single customer he ever sold a car to. And he would write things down like, Jim has a daughter who swims. And so when Jim would come in, 2 years down the road, Jim would come back in, he'd check his file real quick, and he'd go, Jim, how's your daughter Teresa doing with her swimming? And it just created this impression with people, wow, he remembers that stuff. And so with the CRM, you can do the same thing without having to have a huge filing cabinet like Joe Girard did. You can put a note on there. Talk to her on Facebook about her puppies. And so when you call this person back in 6 months or 1 month or a year or whenever, you can look at your notes and go, and then you can start out with, how are your puppies? That's more impressive than, hey, do you want to join yet? Or how's your business? And things like that. So the CRM is pretty amazing. It also comes with capture pages. Capture pages are a page that you put up on the internet where you can send people and they put in their name and email address in trade for some kind of value, some kind of free gift or free information. And so capture pages, rather than having to create your own or buy other software to create them, within My Lead System Pro, you can create your own custom capture pages. It has all kinds of awesome training for you. Training every single day. They have live training, new training, as well as they have training that you can share with your prospects. For example, I am not an Instagram expert, but there's people on my list who want to learn about Instagram marketing. So there's members who know more about marketing than I do on My Lead System Pro, who know more about Instagram marketing, who've created a free webinar that I can give to my list. So with this system, if you start a newsletter for the work from home niche, for the make money from home niche, and you don't want to have to create all the content, or you don't know how to create all the content to share with them in your newsletters, you can go to My Lead System Pro and use their content. Or you can use their content for ideas and then make your own content based off of the ideas you got from My Lead System Pro. So it's pretty amazing. You get a lot more value than just an autoresponder. So the plans start at $50 per month after the test drive of $10 for 10 days. So you just need to decide what route you want to go. I would recommend, if you're just starting out, if you can swing it, sign up for My Lead System Pro test drive. Try it out for 10 days. If you love it, like I did, then go ahead and the plans start as low as $50 per month. You can continue using it. It will come with all those things, including the autoresponder. If you don't feel you need that or don't feel it's for you, then the autoresponder you want to use is aweber. Okay? Again, you can sign up for an aweber free trial at aweber.teachmomhow.com. It's a free trial for 30 days, then $19 per month after that. You can sign up for My Lead System Pro, which comes with the autoresponder, the customer relationship manager, and tons of other stuff. Training you can share to give value to your team and to your prospects, and so on. You can test drive that for $10. So you decide. You can sign up for that at MLSP, as in My Lead System Pro, MLSP.com, MLSP.teachmomhow.com. Or you can sign up for aweber. But the bottom line is, in one form or another, you've got to start a newsletter. It is the key to your long-term success in this business. It is the key to your short-term success in this business. Okay? If you don't want to be the person that is constantly jumping from company to company to company and driving your friends crazy because, oh, here she comes again with another opportunity. Oh, here she comes with again. If you've come to your friends multiple times with an opportunity, all that tells them is that it didn't work for you. So if you want to quit being that person, then you've got to start a newsletter and see it through. And email your list as often as it makes sense to email them. I email nearly every day. Yes, some people don't want to receive emails every single day, but the ones that do, receive them gladly and read them, and those are the ones I'm looking for. Okay? So go ahead, get started. Contact me if you need help. Email me, message me, Facebook me, whatever you need to do. Again, this has been Kurt Clapier with teachmomhow.com. And one more plug for aweber. You might be thinking $19 a month sounds expensive, but you can't mail a list, anything, for that price physically. And to be able to do this online and automate the process, it will be worth every penny. This is the most important thing you can buy in your business, is the autoresponder. So decide which one you want to do. Do you want aweber for a 30-day free trial and then $19 a month? Or do you want MLSP with all the training and everything else it comes with on top of the autoresponder for $10 and then $50 a month? You decide. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.